नमस्कार, मैं हूं राजनंदिनी शर्मा और आप देख रहे हैं वीकली राउंड अप। वीकली राउंड अप में हर हफ्ते मैं आपके लिए ढेर सारे इवेंट्स, प्रोग्राम्स और कुछ ऐसी खबरें लेकर आती हूं जो इंडियन डायस्पोरा यूके से रिलेटेड होती है। तो आइए बिना देरी के शुरू करते हैं क्या कुछ हुआ इस हफ्ते। सबसे पहले मैं शुरू करना चाहूंगी, हाई कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने इंटरनेशनल मैरीटाइम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ हाई कमीशन में एक इवेंट रखा जहां पर इंडिया मैरीटाइम इन्वेस्टमेंट मीट की गई और काफ़ी सारे जो लोग हैं डायस्पोरा से और यूके से वो सभी वहाँ मौजूद थे। एक पैनल डिस्कशन भी वहाँ पर हुआ। एक झलक आपको दिखाना चाहूँगी क्या कुछ हुआ वहाँ पर, किस तरीके से ये पूरा इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया।
I would briefly want to summarize the fact that India has historically recognized the importance of the external environment for its development objectives. But in the last decade or so, we have actually started translating that into effective measures to support the externalization of development opportunities for India, both in the foreign policy domain and the foreign economic policy domain. What that effectively means is that we recognize that the creation of infrastructure for facilitating greater participation in global trade is going to be a critical part of India's deepened engagement with the world. This effectively means we are going to be all in on creating new infrastructure that makes the efficient movement of goods from ports and within the country a priority. In the last 8 years or so, the government has stepped up considerably its effort to improve the ease of doing business, in particular through a focus on improved logistics. This comes with additional capex expenditure from the budget, but also additional accretion of attention to the logistics piece. That is relevant. The attention piece is relevant not merely as a piece of political sloganeering, but because India is such a federal country, it is critical to recognize that logistics cannot be improved merely by the addition of capital in India. It also requires a policy framework in which the state governments and municipalities are brought on board to facilitate through simplified rules for doing business the movement of goods across the length and breadth of the country and the efficient transportation of goods to delivery points at ports. A third part of this is the expansion of modalities of transport. For the first time maybe in centuries, we are once again using waterways, in other words, our riverine system, for efficient and productive means of transporting goods to help support rail and road infrastructure. And a closing point on that is the idea that greater free trade agreements, greater partnership agreements with a diverse range of partners from the Gulf to Southeast Asia to Australia and of course the United Kingdom suggests that we are on course for a significant expansion of demand for trade-based services. So in all of that, I would add a closing point which I think should be of interest to all of us. If India is to be, if the world is to be more able to achieve its net zero goals, then the processes by which transportation infrastructure, in particular shipping infrastructure, becomes green and certainly less environmentally impactful is of interest to all of you, to all of us, to every citizen of the planet actually. So all of these are parts of the piece that I think are germane to today's exercise, and I look forward to hearing the presentations that our colleagues from the Ministry of Ports, Shipping have brought to us, and of course the views of our experts on the panel. Thank you very much.
High Commission, as well as all of you who made it possible to be here this afternoon with us. Thank you very much. Welcome to this afternoon of India Maritime Investment Meet. Someone asked me why London. So, of course, it is the global financial capital of the world, and someone told me jokingly that if you stood a London audience on their feet and shook them a bit, a few $1 billion will pop out of their pockets. Well, I'm not going to do that now. You can go back with your pockets and pounds intact. So the idea of this meet is, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce you to the idea of India as a maritime power, as a as an emerging maritime economy with a lot of investment opportunities in the maritime field. We have, under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, unveiled a maritime Amritkal vision, it's called, the 25-year vision for our country, which basically speaks of 11 different pillars. And of them, the 4 that we are discussing today: ports, shipping, investments in shipbuilding, recycling, and so on. And finally, the overall financing of this entire ecosystem. Apart from this, we have waterways, we have green shipping, we have a lot more things happening in this maritime sector. And today we are gathered here not just to discuss these opportunities, but to also lay the foundation for a stronger, greener and more interconnected maritime world. India's economy, as you're aware, has emerged as the 4th largest economy globally, surpassing Japan by crossing the $4 trillion mark. Incidentally, the maritime Amritkal vision that I talked about looks at an investment of $1 trillion over the next 20 years. Huge numbers, you would agree. Shipbuilding is the next sector that we are looking at. Shipbuilding, as many of you might be aware, is highly concentrated with 3 countries contributing over 90% of global shipbuilding output. And these are China, Korea and Japan. And therefore, our country has decided that we must enter the shipbuilding business. 95% of our cargo is at the moment transported on foreign flag ships, foreign built ships, foreign owned ships. And therefore we thought, why not look at owning, building, the entire value chain. So when we start with financing, insurance, ownership, leasing, building, recycling, repairing, and of course flagging and manning, the entire value chain. There are about 12 or 13 of them. I've got them by heart by now. So it's all these areas we want to be in. And of course, among the most important of this are shipbuilding, ship financing, and of course insurance. So let's see what we can do. That the idea of this afternoon is to just meet all of you, pick your brains and see if we can proceed with your cooperation, with your support, or get ideas from you as to how we should go ahead.
बढ़ते हैं आगे। साउथ एशियन सिनेमा फाउंडेशन ने फिल्म स्क्रीनिंग लगाई मर्चेंट आइवरी फिल्म वल्लास की, जहां पर काफ़ी कुछ डिस्कस हुआ कि किस तरीके से पिछले सालों में जो SACF है उसने काफ़ी कुछ स्क्रीनिंग्स करवाई है लंदन में और UK के अंदर, किस तरीके से आइवरी को प्रमोट किया गया और क्या कुछ वहां पर हुआ इवेंट में, और फारूक ढूंढी जो एक राइटर हैं, फिल्म मेकर है, वो भी वहां पर मौजूद थे। उन्होंने क्या कुछ कहा पब्लिक से, एक झलक आपके साथ।
Thank you, Lalit ji. Namaskar. Good evening to all the friends here. It is the love and respect for Lalit ji that I am here. Otherwise, you all know that I am not the person who should be coming between you and such an evening of discussions and I think screening of one movie. I know Lalit ji and his work for last about 2 years now. First time I met him when he was working on he had completed a documentary on his own state of Uttarakhand, a beautiful documentary on poets of Uttarakhand, and I had the opportunity of watching that also in a theatre, National Theatre, if I reflect it right. And since then I have been interacting with Lalit ji, an outstanding journalist, a broadcaster, a documentary maker, a filmmaker, and one of the major contribution he has made by being the founder members of South Asian Cinema Foundation, which you all know better than me that what a human service it has done to Indian cinema.
We are just reaching the end of. It's titled the Indo-British Film Collaboration in Merchant Ivory Period Films and Documentaries and extended from 1961 to the year 2001. What we did in the duration of this project was research about who the makers of these merchant ivory films were and what were the films that they made. Our task was also to train volunteers in certain areas and to increase their skills. So we did training events for volunteers in filmmaking, screenwriting, portraiture and proofreading. And these helped us during our project. We had also to screen some merchant ivory films. We screened some films at the BFI and we have produced a documentary which you will be viewing today. And our new book, as Lalit has said earlier, will be launched in a few days from now. We were also organizing talks about our findings on merchant ivory films, and in all our activities during the course of the project from 2023 to 2025, our work was to involve volunteers.
Thank you, Lalit, for that undeserved introduction. Now, I've been asked to talk about merchant ivory in the context of general films. Let me say that there might be very many other categories, but I think films fall into three particular categories. One is myths, two is reality, and three is shameless entertainment. Now, when one thinks of myths, I mean, think first of what is a myth? A myth is how a society thinks of itself. So when you get Homer's books, you get the Iliad and the Odyssey, they talk about the bravery of Achilles and the cunningness of Ulysses and so on and so forth. That's how the society of Greeks thought about themselves. When we look at the mythologies within the epics of India, we see the mythologies of karma and dharma and so forth. How are they represented in film? If you remember a film called Mother India, right, in which Nargis, the heroine, plays a character who prefers dharma, the truth, to the life of her son. So she betrays her son for the truth because he is a Daku. And so Indian film has always embraced some old mythologies of how the society wanted to look at itself. If you look at another culture, right, there are modern myths. Look at, for instance, America. America has traded on all the stuff I used to see in my teenage, cowboys and Indians. I mean, cowboys, who are cowboys? They're people who look after cows and feed them and clean up their litter, right? Why have they become the arbiters of truth and lies, right? As far as the
बढ़ते हैं आगे, इंटरनेशनल मैरीटाइम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और हाई कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया दोनों ने साथ ही मिलकर एक आईएमओ हेडक्वार्टर्स में डिनर रिसेप्शन भी रखा, जहां पर बड़े बड़े लीडर्स, आईएमओ काउंसिल के लोग, हाई कमीशन के लोग और भी बहुत सारे जो बिजनेस ओनर्स हैं और इस इन्वेस्टमेंट को एक अच्छा सा रुख देने के लिए वहाँ पर जो भी लोग बुलाए जा सकते थे वो सभी लोग वहाँ पर मौजूद थे। साथ ही साथ हाई कमिश्नर विक्रम दोराईस्वामी ने स्पीच दी जिनमें उन्होंने काफ़ी कुछ बताया इसके बारे में, और भी जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स थे वो उन्होंने भी वहाँ पर बात की और एक पूरी फिल्म स्क्रीनिंग की गई किस तरीके से ये जो इन्वेस्टमेंट समिट है इसको आगे ले जाया जा सकता है। एक झलक आपके सामने क्या कुछ हुआ वहाँ पर।
Of our cultural and commercial ties with the international community. Over 200 major and minor ports, a merchant marine fleet of 1,530 ships with gross tonnage of over 13.8 million tons. Nearly 95% of India's overseas trade by volume. Located strategically in the center of one of the busiest shipping lanes, India is providing round-the-clock search and rescue services in the Indian Ocean region. Sagarmala, a flagship program, has been launched to spur port-led development of the country. By the year 2030, the cargo handling capacity of all ports in India is expected to be doubled. Strong policy directives are creating the necessary infrastructure for domestic and international cruise tourism, turning India into a popular tourist destination. India is one of the largest global suppliers of seafarers. The high training standards make the Indian seafarers amongst the most sought after in the world. Committed to enhance women participation in seafaring profession, several policy initiatives have been taken by the government. India operated an Indian flag oil tanker, MT Swarna Krishna, with full women seafarer officers.
This wonderful dinner reception. I would like to invite Indian High Commissioner, His Excellency Mr. Vikram K. Doraiswamy for opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Since I haven't actually spoken, you might save the applause for that point of time. Secretary General Dominguez, my colleague Mr. Ramachandran, our Permanent Secretary of the Department of Shipping, Your Excellencies, my colleagues, ambassadors and high commissioners, friends and permanent representatives to the IMO, delegation leaders and delegates at the IMO. You know, this is a bit of a rite of passage. The price of a well-spent evening is to listen to a speech. So I'm sorry you're going to have to accept a speech or two as the cost of this evening. My pitch to you today is about this wonderful organization that we have the privilege of working in London, the wonderful work it does, and our consistent effort, all of us, to support its purposes and principles, because through it we support the lifeblood of our international economic system, which is trade and the movement of goods through the merchant marine system. We have been fortunate in our Secretary General in the kind of work that he has done to keep us not only connected, but also to keep us well briefed about the many issues and challenges that we all face. In particular, as a country with a large number of merchant marine sailors, are many concerns about the increasingly insecure world in which shipping is confronted with. We have, of course, the longest association with the IMO. We've had the great privilege of being members and partners with the IMO, including with the Secretary General at the early stages of its establishment. And of course, because it is this gateway city to the world, that is London, we have an extensive engagement with the IMO going back the last 6 decades and more.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar and good evening to all of you. I know it's been a productive day of dialogue and decision, so I'll be brief as Indian food, music and our warm hospitality await you this evening. The food is the main reason why most of us are here, I know. And these speeches are just an adjunct. Please take it as that from me. So please enjoy the food, please enjoy the drinks, and please enjoy the music. And if possible, just give a thought to some of the views that I might express here. We are truly delighted to have you all with us tonight. Your presence speaks volumes about the deep maritime spirit we all share and cherish. India embraces the philosophy of one earth, one family, one future, and we bring this vision to life through fostering robust and collaborative maritime efforts. Our Navy has regularly escorted international merchant vessels through piracy-prone waters and has responded decisively to pirate attacks. We also share real-time cyclone and weather alerts with our neighboring countries, helping strengthen regional maritime safety and resilience.
बढ़ते हैं आगे। जैसे कि हमें पता है कि समर्स चल रहे हैं और यूके के समर्स में जो बीचेस हैं यहाँ के पॉपुलर, वहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा इंडियंस देखने को मिलते हैं और साउथ एशियंस देखने को मिलते हैं। तो जो भी बीचेस हैं उनमें से एक बीच जो है डर्डल डोर, वहाँ पर हमने विज़िट किया और वहाँ पर लोगों से बात की किस तरीके से उन्हें डर्डल डोर पसंद है और वो क्राउडी है या नहीं है। एक झलक आपके सामने किस तरीके से हमने वहाँ पर डर्डल डोर एक्सप्लोर किया।
One word about Durdle.
Beautiful.
And do you think it is too crowdy these days?
Yeah, to be honest, it's very crowded because we had to find a place over here just to settle down and everything. It took around 30 to 45 minutes. So it was like very crowded.
But are you enjoying and having fun with your friends?
Yeah, because it's my first time going outside because we are students here. So we are there in the university or we are just for the group studies and everything. And this is our first outing, so it's like peaceful and it's better. It's like good.
One word about Durdle.
It's good, but the people who while
Do you think it's crowdy?
yeah, it's too crowdy, and while coming, it's too hard.
Is this your first time here?
Yes, it's the first time here.
One word about Durdle.
Magnificent.
Is it nice? Do you think it is too crowdy?
I mean, it's a Sunday. Everyone's free today, so probably, yeah. And it's the summers. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much.
आज की वीक राउंड अप में बस इतना ही। अगले हफ्ते फिर मिलूंगी ऐसे कुछ इवेंट्स और प्रोग्राम्स के साथ। तब तक के लिए देखते रहिए MATV बिकॉज़ इट्स योर चैनल ऑफ चॉइस।